Hi everyone, and welcome to day 14 of the Buddy Dispatch. So this week we have some special guest speakers from a group called Helping Hand for Teens, and they're going to be talking about teen mental health.
So first we're going to introduce ourselves and who we are, and then we're going to talk about the information or the education part of it, and then we're going to do a mini meditation.
And then we'll have our discussion topics and craft as usual.
So hi, I'm Sophia.
I'm Jasmine.
And I'm Shayla.
And we are an organization called Helping Hand for Teens. So we basically are dedicated towards raising awareness for teen mental health. We provide accurate information about mental health challenges, as well as positive and healthy recommendations for dealing with them. And the three main issues that we address are stress and anxiety, self-confidence, and the harmful stigma around mental health, among many more. And above all, we hope to be a source of hope and support for teens. So what exactly is mental health? Well, it includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being, and it affects how we think, feel, and act. And it helps us determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. So mental health challenges have been prevalent, and according to the World Health Organization, globally, depression is the fourth leading cause of illness and disability among adolescents aged 15 to 19 years old, and anxiety is the ninth leading cause for adolescents aged 15 to 19 years old.
So what is depression and anxiety? Anxiety is a mental health disorder characterized by feelings of worry and fear. And they can manifest in feelings of hypervigilance, irritability, lack of concentration, fatigue, sweating, and fast heartbeats, while depression is a mental health disorder characterized by persistently depressed moods or loss of interest in activities. And this again can manifest as feelings of sadness, worthlessness, apathy, thoughts of suicide, changes in body weight. And it's important to note that when these two are impairing your normal life and your relationships with others, it's definitely advisable to see a professional. And here's some myths about mental health challenges. Number one, they are character flaws. Mental health challenges are not character flaws, and they don't manifest from negative thinking or bad habits. They're instead a result of trauma. It can be genetic or developed over time from environmental factors. And then the second myth is that I'm lazy or weak if I have a mental health illness, especially if I ask for help. This is definitely wrong, and you are not weak if you are asking for help. Instead, it makes you stronger to be vulnerable to your feelings and emotions and comfortable enough to ask others for help. And physical health matters more than mental health. That's not true. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health, if not more important, because it affects how you act and how you behave in your daily life. And thinking positively will solve my mental illness. Similar to the first one, this is definitely not true. You can't just wish away depression or suddenly think happy thoughts and it will go away.
So upon our research and observation in terms of raising awareness for mental health, we have noticed some negative trends that we would like to address. These come in the form of being romanticized on social media, encouraging the idea that one needs worse mental health to be entertaining, or it's desirable to have mental illnesses, and at times for teens to value having worse mental health than others, which is definitely toxic behavior. Also in television, people facing mental illnesses are often depicted in an exaggerated manner, seeming to be abnormal or evil. And on the news, there's been sensationalized stories involving mental illness, for example, suicide, talking about and focusing on the act rather than the death. So in raising awareness, it's important that as much as we want people to talk about mental illnesses, we want them to do it in a correct and accurate manner, and placing value on getting professional help. And in order to correctly raise awareness, we want to hold news outlets accountable in order to follow guidelines like those from the American Psychological Association, to have open discussions with parents and teachers and family and friends about mental health challenges, to challenge the stigma by posting about it, but make sure to do so with proper research, as we've said before, and to educate those on symptoms and help way beyond just the awareness month, which is actually coming up in April, but it should be constant. And this isn't talked about as much, but it's very important that when raising awareness about mental health, that we use the correct terminology. So we often hear the phrase committed suicide, but it's actually died by suicide or lost by suicide, because we don't want to blame the victim. We want to help the victim out. And we hear mentally ill person, and that also focuses on the illness rather than the person. So we want to say person with a mental illness or living with a mental health issue. And lastly, mental illness as an aggregate term, meaning that not everyone deals with it in the same way, and it's not reflective of what they're actually dealing with. So we want to present it in such a manner as mental illnesses or a mental illness or a mental health challenge.
So here are some ways to alleviate mental health challenges if you're experiencing them. Number one is talking to a friend or a family member or a professional. Number two is exercising, because movement decreases tension and produces endorphins, which are our body's natural painkillers. And then you can also eat a well-balanced meal, which will improve your gut health, subsequently improving your mental health. You can take time to be with just yourself by listening to music, meditating, or just any way to relax. You should get some sleep, because this gives your brain time to process emotional information. And lastly, you should learn what triggers your anxiety or depression by reflecting on your emotions in a journal. And definitely, if it's interfering with your daily life, i.e., academic, social, or work life, please seek professional help.
And if you have any questions, you can contact us on Instagram, you can email us, or you can visit our website page. Thank you guys so much.
And they have a short meditation activity, which if you want to do, you can find the link in the description next to the video.
All right, and moving on to our prompts. So our topic of the week is obviously mental health. And the first prompt that we have is, do you feel like you're able to talk to friends and family regarding your mental health? And do you feel like you will be judged for it? For a long time, I think that mental health wasn't really talked a lot about, especially like in mainstream society. And so when our parents are kind of like growing up, like still with that mentality, it's really hard to come to them and talk to them about your mental health issues, because it's just something that like wasn't really talked about when they were growing up. And so they might feel uncomfortable with it. So personally for me, I do feel like I might be judged for it, or like it's just something I'm not really comfortable with. So I usually tend to lean more towards my friends when talking about my mental health. Next question, what contributes most to your mental health suffering? Is it school, social media, or something else? I think mine would just be, not social media, but maybe just like the media in general, or just um, being in social situations, I guess. Just I have a really hard time just like comparing myself to others and thinking that other people are judging me or something. But yeah, I don't think there's like one specific thing that really contributes most to my mental health. Um, Next one, what is your relationship with your mental health? Do you feel like you can realize when you should focus on your mental health? So, this question is more asking like, do you realize when it is time to like sort of take a break from either doing schoolwork or like pushing yourself to work so hard? Just do you realize when it's time to be like, okay, like let's slow down a little bit. Let's maybe do a like meditation or like journal for a little bit. And lastly, what are your favorite slash most effective and healthy coping mechanisms to maintain good mental health? I know for a lot of us, a really common like coping mechanism is just like go on social media for hours on end, but that's not really that healthy. So for me, I like to either pick up a book or just spend time with my dogs, or just like go for a walk, or even just like doing a face mask and just taking some time just for myself.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of coping mechanisms, our craft for this week is a Zen doodle. So Zen doodles are also called Zen tangles, is a great way to relax and let your creativity flow while relieving stress and anxiety. And drawing such patterns has proven to be very therapeutic. So when you draw your Zen doodle, it can look however you want. Just put your pen to the paper, try like starting by drawing a bunch of sections, like here, like just draw a bunch of squiggly lines across the page to make sections, and then fill in each one with like different patterns. And my psychology teacher assigned this for us last year, and I found it to be very relaxing and therapeutic, especially if you're like feeling really overwhelmed with schoolwork right now. It's a great way to just sit back, take some time to reflect on your thoughts and emotions, and just draw. And it's really fun. And I totally understand that this looks super elaborate and you might not have time for it. So it can be as small as you want. It can be in like a small little like um, index card or like a little square piece of paper. It can be as small or big as you want. And you don't have to put time into it. You can put as much time as you need, because we don't want this to be an obligation. We just want you to relax. So yeah, that's it for this meeting. Thank you for joining. And our next session will be on March 30th. So make sure to follow our Instagram to stay updated, or check our website. And don't forget to submit pictures of your letters and crafts for volunteer hours. And check the participants tab for everything you will need. See you next time.
Oh, sorry, one last note. If you are watching this recently, so like around March time, please don't forget to fill out the new volunteer form that Tatiana has sent us, so you guys can continue earning your volunteer hours. But if you're watching this in the future, don't worry about it. You're probably all good to go. But yeah, thank you guys. Have a great day.